What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be going over the top 8 Toyotas you can buy for under $5,000. And the reason why in the title it says you need to buy them now is because they're not going to be under $5,000 for much longer. All of the other Toyotas are going up in value, up in value, and up in value, and once those reach a certain point, they're going to start looking at the cheaper ones, and that's what you're looking at right now. Be proactive and get yourself a good Toyota before they go up in value, or you'll regret it when your Ford breaks down. And you may ask, why 8 and not 10? Well, I couldn't find 10 cool Toyotas for under 5K. So yeah, let's get into it. So first car up on this list is a car that almost nobody talks about and almost nobody likes. Everybody likes the Civic SIs, but nobody likes the Corolla XRS, made from 2005 to 2006. This car has 170 horsepower, front wheel drive. You can get it with a manual transmission. I mean, what more could you want? It's literally the rival to the SI that nobody cares about, and that's where you come in. It's got a legendary Toyota engine in it called the 2ZZ. I don't know if you've heard of it before, but it also came in the Matrix XRS, the Vibe GT made by Pontiac, which is the same thing, and what most of you guys probably know but want to hear it just because it's a 2ZZ, is it came in the Lotus Elise and the Lotus Exige. So this is a badass motor if Lotus picked it up. Not only that, but it has a crazy amount of modding potential. For some reason, Toyota decided to make the connecting rods and the crank forged steel in an economy car, so this car can handle up to 400 to 500 horsepower. So if you're not feeling it with the stock 170 horsepower, go slap a turbo on there, make 300 horsepower, and it will still be reliable. Not only that, but it's not just a regular Corolla. They decided to put a nice body kit on it, and it does not look half bad for the time. It does not compare to like an FRS, GT86 or anything like that, but I mean, it is still a pretty cool design. And the XRS logo, that's also pretty cool. And after all of this, you still get 30 miles per gallon. This is a great car to get. And did I mention it also came in the Elise and Exige? Now, if that didn't get you off this video, which I really hope you stay by the way, if it didn't get you off this video and you want a little bit more 2ZZ action, you can also look into the Vibe GT and the Matrix XRS. And what's great about this is it's pretty much the Corolla, except it's a hatchback. So you get more room, but you still get the same performance. And what's great about this is if you do not like the Toyota more bubbly styling, you can go for the Vibes GT more angry, angular styling that it has. Honestly, if I was to pick between the two, I'd go with the Vibe GT. It's less known. It's a Pontiac, so that's even cooler. They're not around anymore, guys. And this is even more crazy. In Japan, they brought the Pontiac Vibe and rebadged it as a Toyota Volt. So Pontiac rebadged a car from Toyota, and then Toyota rebadged the rebadged car and sent it over to Japan and called it the Toyota Volt. That's pretty darn sick. Would I own this car? You darn tootin' right I would. And I actually have a Vibe downstairs, but unfortunately it's not the GT. One day I do plan on swapping a 2ZZ in there, and then it will be a GT pretty much. Now, one thing that the Vibe and the Matrix had was the option for all-wheel drive. And unfortunately, with the Vibe GT and the XRS, you got the front-wheel drive model because it's more sporty. In a way, I guess. But what if you wanted a car that was front wheel drive, but also 4-wheel drive, so you could take it in the dirt every once in a while, maybe get stuck, listen to some country, who knows? Well then don't worry, because I got you covered. Next up on the list is L20 Tercel 4-wheel drive. Now, unlike the last car that made 170 horsepower, you're gonna have to subtract 100 for this car, so it only makes 71 horsepower. It's still front wheel drive, but it can go into 4-wheel drive for off-roading. Not only that, but it's still got the cool hatchback styling. And unlike the bubbly styling of the Matrix XRS, you get the angular styling from the 80s Toyotas. You still retain the 30 miles per gallon, but of course you're gonna be going a lot slower. And it's simple, different, because when is the last time you've ever seen this car before, if you've ever seen one in your life? I think the last time I saw one was being used as a rural post carrier. And the best part about this is you get it for $5,000. You get a piece of Toyota history that is really being overlooked right now. And right now, all the spotlight is on the first gen 4Runner. They're going for like 20K in really good condition. Take that 20K, invest 15 of it, get the 5K, and buy a really nice Tercel, and that will eventually go up in value just like the first gen 4Runners. And the fourth car on this list isn't really a car, more of what you'd call a sport utility vehicle, and that's the only 4Runner that is still attainable for $5,000. You go first gen 4Runner, you're looking at maybe 10 to 20 in a nice condition. You're looking at the third gen 4Runners. You're also looking at that 10 to 15 price range. You go to fourth gen 4Runners, the V6 model, the one that almost nobody cares about, and they're still going for 10K. And then when you move up to the V8, then you're looking at like 16 in good condition, maybe with 200,000 miles on it. And then obviously the fifth gens are too new to be under 5K. So that leaves you with the second gen 4Runner. Now this came with the 3.0 motor, If you guys watch my buyer's guide on the first gen 4Runner, you know this has a problem with head gaskets right around 200,000 miles. But if it's under 200,000 miles, you still got some miles to go. And if it's over, it's probably been replaced, so you're also pretty good. They're still very capable with off-roading. They pretty much are the same thing as a first gen, except you lose a removable top and you don't get the 22RE, which is one of the most bulletproof motors in existence, which you will also be hearing about later in the video. But man, if you have $5,000 and you're looking for an SUV, go pick one of these up right now before they go up in value, just like all the other 4Runners. And if you like rare vehicles, this is the exact vehicle you should go for, because there is one thing that is super rare that not a lot of people know about. The first gen 4Runners only had 2 doors. Second gen 4Runners only had 4 doors. Until you watch this video and then you figured out they had a 2-door version. That's super rare. Really, I mean, anybody who has kids and anybody's gonna use this vehicle obviously wants 4 doors. But for some reason, for classics, 2 doors are always more popular. So go look for one of those. They have a really cool slanted back window. And honestly, if you're looking for that first gen 4Runner vibe, get that one if you can find one. I don't know, and probably not, but it was worth a try. Now the 5th car on this list I've talked to. Can't talk to cars. What are you talking about, dude? The 5th car on this list is a car I've already talked about in the past a lot, so I'm not going to go into too much detail. But if you want a fun, sportier car than all of these, 2-door and mid-engine, just go for an AW11 MR2. They're a great car. It only made 114 horsepower, but it has a 4AG, just like the 8.6. And if you do minor modification, that thing screams. And they're probably the most reliable mid-engine car you could get. Not only that, but they look super cool, and they're also super cheap for some reason. If you're wondering why they're super cheap, I don't know, you don't know, but one day they won't be cheap, and that's why you need to buy one right now. Now, if you're not into lifting the whole car instead of just lifting the engine for an engine replacement, if you ever get to that in a Toyota, which you probably might not, I've included a couple FR sports cars that Toyota made that are not that popular. For some reason, the Mark IV Supra, super popular. The Mark III Supra is getting there. The Mark II Supra, nobody cares about. And yes, it didn't make as much horsepower as the Mark III or the Mark IV. Honestly, does it look better? Kinda does. The 2nd gen Celica Supra had 145 horsepower, rear-wheel drive, and manual, and it has that boxy 80s styling. I mean, if you're looking for a classic car that's cheap, this is definitely the one for you. And the best part is it's still a Supra, so you can say, yeah, I got a Supra. People will be pretty disappointed when they see your car, but does it matter? No, because it makes you feel good inside. Honestly, I don't even know what number we're on, but I think we're on 7. The 7th car on this list is a step down from the Celica Supra, just the Celica, and we're talking about the 3rd gen Celica. Now this is very different from the 7th gen, the newest one. It's not front wheel drive. It doesn't look kind of hideous. It looks really, really good. It has pop-up headlights, and it has a 22RE in it from the 1st gen 4Runner and the 1st gen Toyota pickups. So you know this thing is bulletproof. It might not be the fastest, but it is super reliable and it looks really, really good. I honestly think this looks better than the Celica Supra and probably the AW11 MR2. I think this car just looks really, really good. And again, nobody cares about it. Since they're so cheap, make sure to get the GTS trim on it so you just have the best of the best options. You get that 22RE with that 5-speed manual and you'll be rocking and rolling. And I think this is the only car on the list that you can find a convertible for. So if you like some wind in your hair, this is a perfect car for under $5,000. That's a convertible that still looks good, because when a lot of companies do these convertibles, they just turn out looking so ugly. 350Z Coupe looks pretty good. 350Z convertible, it went from a good looking car to one of the worst looking cars in existence. And the last car on this list is a 1st generation Tacoma 2-wheel drive. 4-wheel drive is definitely out of your budget, but if you want a car that can do some slight off-roading, maybe down to the fishing pond or down to the river with your tube in the back, this is a perfect vehicle. Or even if you have a side hustle and you just need a reliable truck, these things are great. And before you know it, they'll go up in value. They're super reliable, one of the most reliable vehicles that Toyota ever made. And that's why when a new neighborhood is being built, roads are being built, or in these developing countries, all of these guys use old Toyota trucks because they know they're reliable and cheap. And that's all you need. So I hope you guys did enjoy this video. I know there was a lot of variety on the list. Pretty much I got everything covered. So if you agree with me, go down and subscribe, comment your favorite one on the list, or if you have one on the list and you just want to say, hey, look at me, I made it on the list. My unappreciated car is on here. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.